Whey! Patch 1024 is here, GameLeapers. A sneak peek of what's to come. The highest win rate in the game, AMUMU, has been nerfed, as has the most banned champion in the game, Samira. There are buffs to Tryndamere and Varus, and updates to Yasuo and Yone regarding their interaction with Ginsu's Rageblade. In terms of item changes, there are 19 of them, and all but one of the major mythics have copped a decrease in power. To all you ADC lovers out there, you will be pleased to know some of your items have received buffs, so you can actually compete with all the other damage dealers in the game. Well, we hope at least. Ryze, Anivia, Kassadin, all you mana-dependent mages that have practically no legit mana items, have been helped out as well, with Tear of the Goddess buffed. Riot have also updated the item shop and icons. Now we can actually differentiate between all the new mythics and legendaries, which is sick. Last but certainly not least, Riot have implemented a change regarding AFKs and game ruining behavior, which should be music to all of our ears. GameLeapers, I hope you're all doing well. I'm Coach Cheese, and I'm here to navigate you through all the new changes in 1024 and what this actually means for us as summoners and the champions we play. I want to know what change made you smile the most. For me, the item shop upgrades, and we'll see these very shortly, are top of my list, so let me know in the comments below. As always, go ahead and like the video to help us out, subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of the Season 11 changes, and guess what? There is a massive 50% sale on our website, GameLeap.com, the best place to hone your skills and stomp your way through the ranks. Challenger courses, guides, and videos designed to help you reach that next level. If there was ever a time to cash in, it's now. Check it out, link will be in the description and at the end of this video. Alright, let's get into it. Let's address the champion changes and what they mean. First up, AMUMU. And this nerf, along with the other changes in this patch, will definitely upset the sad mummy. Riot are nerfing Despair, AMUMU's W, and its damage over time. Now, AMUMU users have been building Sunfire Aegis and Demonic Embrace, and the tick damage you get from all of this is nuts. Bandage tossers have been soloing Baron at 20 minutes. Along with the other changes in this patch, AMUMU has been hit hard, but he will remain close to the top. There are no nerfs to Sunfire Aegis, his big power, and there's only a small nerf to Demonic Embrace. The Grain Headbutter will still be one of the strongest champions in the game. Next, we have Hecarim, and I'm telling you this change means little, if nothing. Riot are nerfing Hex movement speed in his E, Devastating Charge, and AD from his passive. What does this mean? This means you can still sprint to any lane and kill whatever enemy champion is in it. The reason Heck is so strong is because of his W and its insane sustain with his core items. A little less movement speed in AD doesn't change a thing. Next on Rito's hit list is Kayle, and like those before her, she will still be a strong pick. Divine Ascent, Kayle's passive, is now granting 1% bonus attack speed per 100 AP instead of 2%. So this drop is big in itself, but in the big picture, once Kayle reaches her Nash's Tooth and Lichbane power spike, she will still be that ultimate 1v1er. Now, all of her AP items are getting nerfed, and it will certainly impact Kayle's power, but not enough to dismantle her from the second highest win rate in the game. Last on the nerf list, it's Samira, and I hate to say it, or do I? But Samira will continue to be banned like no other. You would think Riot targeted her Bladewell, Wild Rush, or even Inferno trigger. No. Riot have decided to nerf the damage in her passive and her dash range against immobilized enemies. You can still do all those annoying things, and does this stop her from being the most infuriating champion to play against? No. Onto the buffs. Let's get positive. The first of two champions receiving some assistance, Tryndamere, and these are nice buffs. More bonus attack damage each time you level up your Q, and more bonus AD per 1% missing health. So the lower you are, the higher your attack damage. Now, is this monumental? No, but the item changes we'll get into shortly really help Tryndamere and will definitely stop him from being one of the 3 worst champions in the game. Varus is the other champion receiving buffs, but, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Varus will not be returning in 1024 with a big enough vengeance. The positives: with the new piercing arrow, you deal more damage on blighted targets the longer you charge your Q, and this can be up to 50%. This also stacks with your Q's channel time damage. The on-hit damage from your W, Blighted Quiver, is down from 2 points onwards, but detonating a Blight stack reduces all basic cooldowns by 12% of the max cooldown, and this is per stack. So when you detonate 3 Blight stacks, this ramps up to 36%. And guess what? The longer you charge your Q and detonate these stacks, up to 50% of that cooldown refund is reduced. As As you can see here, if I apply 3 stacks of Blight and Q immediately, the cooldown is reduced by just the 36%. But if I charge my Q, the cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. In other words, 54%. This is taking into account the channel time, of course. But coach, this sounds great. What's the bad news? Well, the missile speed of Chain of Corruption, Varus's ultimate, is slower, meaning enemy champions have more time to dodge it. And crit Varus will still be underwhelming compared to everything else in the bot lane. Jhin, Vayne, Misfortune, these will all still dominate and Varus won't get a sniff. Moving on to the champion interaction changes, or should I say further nerfs. Riot stated that Yasuo and Yone had excessive synergy with Ginsu's Rageblade. In other words, Riot think that 47% win rates are too high, so they are nerfing the only build path keeping the half-brothers barely somewhat viable. Passive crit doubling now takes place after Rageblade's on-hit calculations, meaning half of that on-hit damage is removed. Both Yasuo and Yone were struggling with this effect, now it will be really grim. 40% win rate incoming, I'm calling it. Probably not that much, but now let's smash through the item changes, because there is a lot. We'll start with the AD Mythic Kraken Slayer, and this will make all you AD carries feel a heck of a lot better. An increase in 5 attack damage in its innate stats and passive, and the damage ratio increased to 45% from 30% for every third attack. Keep in mind this third attack deals true damage which ignores resistances, so if you're playing Vayne, Kai'Sa, Caitlyn, basically any attack speed based champion, you are going to be so much happier. The fact of the matter is that crit took a hit in the previous patch, making the marksman role weaker in general. Well, this change puts a lot of the AD carries back in the picture. You will be ripping through every enemy champion that gets within auto attack range, and tanks won't be tanky at all. It is time to unleash. Blade of the Ruined King's price has increased to 3200 from 3100, and attack speed has decreased to 25% from 30%. Does this change a lot? No. If you were building Bork on Jax, Xin Zhao, even Katarina, it's still good. Cosmic Drive. Ability power increased to 75 from 70. The movement speed from its passive and 30 ability haste are what make this item strong, and they remain untouched, so the drive is an even better item on your favorite mages because of this little change. Demonic Embrace. The burn damage has decreased to 1.2% from 1.5%. This is a 20% change and isn't that significant on its own, so it's still a good second, even third item choice for mages. But for Liandra's Anguish users, it makes matters worse, and here's why. Anguish is also getting hit. The burn damage ratio has been lowered to 1.5% AP from 2.5%, and this will certainly impact the effectiveness of Brand, Swain, Zyra, Malzahar, who have been abusing the damage over time from Anguish and Embrace. They will still be solid picks, just less obnoxious. Next up we have the Mythic Eclipse. Its cooldown on its passive is increasing to 8 seconds for melee champions and 16 seconds for ranged. The cooldown is not the reason Eclipse is so OP, so if you play Jhin, Graves, Zed, Kiana, all of these champions that rush this assassin mythic, no reason to fret, it's still good as. Essence Reaver is getting 10 extra AD to 50 overall, so champions like Lucian and Tryndamere who love everything it offers, AD, crit and ability haste, will be happier, but on the whole, the change is not big enough to make ER competitive with Navori Quickblades, which gives you more AD, more haste, and a better passive. Moving on. Lichbane is copping a jab. The AP ratio is now 40% and not 50% on your next attack. So if you play Kayle, Echo, Fizz, even on-hit Katarina who applied the damage with her Shumpo, you will be less powerful. Will it be enough to stop you from being one of the best and most banned champions in the game? I don't think so. Luden's Tempest is the second of 5 mage mythics receiving a nerf, but if you love playing Annie's, Syndra, Orianna, it's not that bad, so no need to get upset. The movement speed on its passive is halved, and the damage ratio decreased by 5%. The movement speed is one of the main reasons immobile mages love this item, and you're still keeping some of that, as well as the AP, mana, haste, and magic penetration passive, so keep your chin up. Let's give you supports out there some good news. Moonstone Renewer is getting buffed, but it changes nothing. So if you're someone who loves playing spellcasters like Sona and Soraka, I'm sorry guys. You heal for a lot more, which is obviously good, but the core issues remain. It's expensive, 2700 gold, and until that point, you are pretty much useless. Nash's Tooth is losing some of its bite. Kayle abusers, I mean mains, you are once again going to hate me. The damage ratio on your attacks is now 20% AP from 25%. It's not huge by any means, but the totality of the 1024 changes for champions like Kayle, Diana, even Nico is significant. Night Harvester and Rocket Belt are 2 more AP mythics reducing in power, so AP assassins that rely on burst damage will feel the change more than most. Fizz, Diana, Echo for example. The damage from each of their passives is now lower, so it will be harder to 100 to 0 enemy squishies, from the items that is. It It will still be doable of course, but every other nerf to AP champions in this patch worsens the mage landscape. Vayne, Tryndamere, Lucian. Fandom Dancer is back on the map. Reduced to 2700 gold from 2900 and an extra second of ghosting and movement speed actually make this item a viable purchase. It gives these champions a lot of what they are after: attack speed, crit, and movement speed. So definitely consider building it as a third or fourth item. All of you AD carry mains should be beaming with happiness, and you still should, even though Prowler's Claw is adding a little more power to AD assassins. The attack damage is increasing to 60 from 55 and the active damage to 80 from 75. Rek'Sai mains will be cheering, no doubt about that, but it now adds another option next to Duskblade and Eclipse for Zed, Talon, Qiyana, Pyke players who have not even considered the Claw until now. The last of the AP mythics getting a sorting out is Riftmaker. Kayle players, I'm once again sorry for your loss, I really am. The passive damage is decreased to 2% per second from 3% and now caps at 10%. The longer the fight goes, the more effective this effect becomes, so AP champions with Conqueror love it. Akali, Katarina, even Singed. It's a bit of a blow, but the item still remains strong, so keep building it. Last of the mythic and legendaries, we have Serpent's Fang, and this will be a great situational item for all you lethality abusers. Zed, Talon, even Misfortune with her ultimate will benefit greatly. The Shield Reaver damage via its passive has increased to 70 from 50, so if the enemy team has a bunch of shields, you will start shredding through them with the Fang, so build it as a third or fourth item in these games. The jungle items, Hailblade and Ember Knife, are now more beneficial for champions with area of effect abilities. AMUMU, Zac, Sejuani, Gragas, Lilia, pretty much all the APs, you will all be happier. Despite the Omnivamp being reduced to 10% from 12%, Monster Omnivamp is no longer reduced by AoE damage. This means you will be healthier when clearing camps, and your weak early game is less vulnerable against strong invaders. Last item on the list, Tear of the Goddess and its evolutions, and this will definitely help you Kassadin, Anivia, and Ryze mains in the early game. You get 240 mana off the rip, which was increased from 150, meaning you can spam spells without worrying about running out of mana. Stacking tier comes down to you using your abilities, and the increase in base mana helps for sure. The maximum bonus mana is now 360 from 450, meaning that you reach this quicker, and also Seraph's Embrace earlier in a game. The maximum mana from Archangel's Staff, Seraph's, and Mura mana has also increased. On the whole, this is a welcome buff that certainly boosts those champions reliant on mana. Guys, look at the shop. Look at this. You can actually tell which item is which now. How good is this? Riot updated over 60 items and it looks so much better. There's a lot in this patch, but I think this is the best change in it. It helps all of us out and should no longer deter players from jumping on the game just because they don't know what an Infinity Edge looks like anymore. The last change to dial our focus on is the behavioral changes, and guess what? Riot have taken aim at all those AFKs we've been getting. If there is an AFK detected on your team after the 10-minute mark, you can FF, but it has to be unanimous. This is 5 minutes earlier than before, so you waste less time in a lost game. You know what else Riot have implemented? If you are on the team with a player AFK, you lose less LP. This is a great start by Rito in tackling one of the biggest issues all of us had last season with ranked play. Another mammoth patch, and it's been a joy bringing you all the changes Riot has jam-packed in 1024. Let me know in the comments what change you are happy with or unhappy with moving forward. As always gang, please help a video out and drop a like before leaving, and remember, 50% off GameLeap.com memberships. Get your cursors moving and fingers clicking, and get signed up before our massive sale ends. If you love League of Legends and want to improve like no other, then it is a no-brainer. The best instructive content going around to help you reach the summit. Join now, link in the description. Thanks so much for watching guys. This has been Coach Iggs, and until next time, peace.